Now, we've already studied about cloning vectors. We've studied that cloning vectors require a few integral parts, the ORI sequences, the selection marker, and the cloning site should be there. Now, today we'll be understanding the next step, that is the screening process. Why is it needed, and one of the methods that is used for screening. Now, quick recap. This is how we made the recombinant DNA, a process that was given by Cohen and Boyer. And once this recombinant DNA is ready, it is transferred inside the bacteria. Then we have to make sure or select the bacteria which have the recombinant DNA or the bacteria which have been transformed. For this, we use a process of selection. Selection markers are used to check whether our cell has taken up the plasmid vector or not. So far, so good. But now comes a bigger problem. While making recombinant DNA, we could not actually see the process happening. DNA is too small for that. You cut the plasmid, you cut out the gene of interest from its source, here I'm showing it in pink, and you mix the two together, hoping that the plasmid would take up the gene of interest. But we don't exactly know whether the plasmid has taken up the gene of interest or it has just closed back without it. So the first one with the gene of interest becomes the recombinant DNA, and the second one without the gene of interest becomes the non-recombinant. So the process may give both types of plasmids, the recombinant plasmid as well as the original plasmid. And we need a method to separate out these two, because the one we are interested in is the recombinant one. We don't want the original DNA strand. Now, to top it all, we are not able to see all this happening. So after we have managed to transform our bacteria, we need a process of screening to know whether the plasmid that has gone inside the bacteria carries the gene of interest. It is the recombinant one. And for this, we use two methods. Both these methods come under the same category, the insertion inactivation. Why we call it insertion activation, we'll be seeing in a short while. But for now, there are these two methods, replica plating and blue-white screening. We'll be doing replica plating today. Now, before going into the details of replica plating, let's get a brief idea of what this process is. So in this process, what we are going to do is take a mixture of bacterial cell and we make multiple culture plates with it. The original one we keep for safekeeping and reference, and that we call the master plate. Why we are doing this? To enable screening of recombinants. Recombinants are cells with plasmids that contain our recombinant DNA, while non-recombinants are cells with non-recombinant or the original plasmid. So what is the principle underlying replica plating? We know that antibiotics kill bacteria. So if you have a Petri plate with a culture medium containing some antibiotic, the bacteria will die because of it. But some bacteria survive an antibiotic, and this is because it has a R plasmid. This R plasmid has genes which make bacteria resistant to that particular antibiotic. So if a bacteria carries a plasmid with genes resistant for tetracycline or tetracycline resistance gene, then the bacteria will not be affected by tetracycline in the medium. Similarly, if a bacteria has an ampicillin resistance gene, it will survive ampicillin. Now, with this character in mind, we can use antibiotics in replica plating. Now let's say we have a plasmid vector PBR322 and we have tried to form a recombinant plasmid. So for this we use the BAMH1 restriction enzyme to cut and insert the gene of interest at BAMH1 recognition site. But in doing so, we disrupt the tetracycline resistance gene. So you notice here this very important point, the BAMH1 restriction site lies within this tetracycline resistance gene sequences. So that is why when we cut the plasmid here, the tetracycline resistance gene gets disrupted, and as a result, the bacteria is no more resistant to tetracycline. Or we can say that if the plasmid is recombinant, the tetracycline resistance gene is inactivated. So you can understand why we have called this process the insertional inactivation. So bacteria with recombinant DNA is sensitive to tetracycline, but the original non-recombinant plasmid, if that one is formed, the gene for tetracycline resistance remain functional and the bacteria will survive in tetracycline. So recombinant will die in tetracycline, non-recombinants will survive in tetracycline. Now we have a Petri plate with both types of bacteria, the one with recombinant plasmid and the one with original plasmid. We want to screen the recombinants. So in the Petri plate, the culture medium will contain tetracycline. As a result, the recombinants will die and the non-recombinants will survive. We clearly are able to identify the recombinants. So problem solved? Well, not actually. In the process of screening, we killed the ones that we needed. So how do we save the recombinants? By creating two plates instead of one, or replica plating. We make a master plate without the tetracycline. Both recombinants and non-recombinants grow on it. Let's draw the non-recombinants in green and the recombinants in red. Now we take a sterile velvet on a block like this, mark it for orientation for the reference point of view, and touch this block, the sterile velvet of the block, onto the master plate. The velvet will pick up bacteria from the colonies at exact same position as there are on the master plate. Now touch this velvet to the other plate. This other plate contains tetracycline in the medium. Now all bacteria from master plates are inoculated into this second replica plate, but since this one has tetracycline in cultural medium, so only bacteria that are tetracycline resistant will grow on it. The tetracycline sensitive ones will die. So here you get colonies corresponding to only the green ones. The red ones or the recombinant ones die in the second plate, but you have them in the master plate, so you can compare the two plates now. You can see that areas corresponding to red colonies are blank in the replica plate. So now you can pick the red bacterial colonies from the master plate. These are your selected bacteria with recombinant DNA, and that finishes the replica plating process of screening. Besides tetracycline, we can also use other antibiotics, ampicillin, kanamycin, chloramphenicol, etc. Only thing to remember is that the gene sequence of this antibiotic resistance gene should be such that your cloning site should lie within the gene sequence. The restriction site should be within the gene sequence of these antibiotic resistance gene. And the questions. Question 1. In recombinant DNA technology, antibiotic genes are used as? The answer would be 1. Selection marker. Question 2. This is a PBR 322 at PST1 site. Which of these would be needed for selection of recombinants? You can see that the restriction site cuts through ampicillin resistance gene. So the correct answer would be B and D. Thank you. Bye-bye.